Hello. Good afternoon. How are you all doing? Great to see you. I'm TJ, the program coordinator here. Just a couple quick things before we get started with Chef Shannon today. If you haven't already, make sure you turn off your cell phone. I also wanted to take a moment to thank the sponsors of this program because that's what makes these great programs happen. So thank you very much to Jerry and Lori Ernst. Appreciate their support. And then we do have some exciting things coming up this week. We have a big Earth Day celebration that we're going to be doing, and it's going to have a lot of great organizations here, activities for all ages. It'll be on Wednesday. And we'll even be doing a tree planting ceremony in the morning. So definitely check that out. There's details in our program guide. We'll be sending out an email, but things going on all day on Wednesday, and then we'll finish with the screening of the Lorax. So if you want to join for that and all of the Palm Springs, or actually it's the Desert Sands school kids that are out on spring break. I'm sure that sounds thrilling to watch that with all of the kids, right? So. But no, we do a lot of great stuff, but it's a really fun event, and a lot of people came last year. So if you have a chance on Wednesday, check that out. The other thing is there was a lot of people last year, or last week, who said that they were new or they hadn't been here. And so is there anyone who has not ever been inside that building right over there, the observatory? I figured a lot of you maybe haven't been inside there. So we do offer daytime tours, but the really cool thing is to come at night. And so most Thursday and Saturday nights are open nights. You don't have to register in advance. It's totally free. It's usually just a very short wait, and you can go in and look through all of our telescopes, including our big giant telescope, and our astronomers are there, and our great volunteer docents. So definitely come check that out. This is probably a good time of year too. It's a little bit quieter. Always recommend you arrive earlier, or one little tip is wait half an hour after it starts, because then when you come, the line will probably have gone most of the way through, and you can walk in and spend as much time as you like at the telescope. So just wanted to make sure everyone knows that is 100% free and happens almost every single Thursday and Saturday. So it depends on the time of year. So when the stars, our astronomers was like tell you immediately, and it always is changing. But so it's 8:30 to 10 right now. So like this Thursday, it's from 8:30 to 10 on both Thursday and Saturday. But then starting next week, it's from 9 to 10:30. So you always want to check the program guide on the website. But it's great. Definitely check that out. Tomorrow night we have Swoon at the Moon. Yes. So actually with the Artemis mission, a lot of interest in the moon. The moon normally is so bright that it's not something that astronomers spend a lot of time looking at through a telescope. And our telescope can actually see much, much further, and that's what it's designed for. However, for amateur astronomers, if you've never looked at the moon, it's incredible to look at through the telescopes that we have. And you can actually take your cell phone and take pictures through the lens and get just some incredibly cool photos. So they also have some really cool displays up about the trips that we've taken to the moon, facts and so forth. So Swoon at the Moon's always very fun, and it is the same way. You don't have to pre-register or anything like that. You can just come. Everyone is welcome. So we do that throughout the year as well. I literally told Shannon I'm going to be super quick, so you'll be right out here. And poor Shannon's had to stand over there, but she is the wonderful Chef Shannon Bush. We're so happy to have here. So let's get her out here for today's program. Welcome, Shannon Bush.
Thank you, TJ. That was important information. I've been to the telescope viewing, and it's a fabulous thing to do. If you haven't done it before, like you said, go check it out. Hi, welcome everybody. Hi, I see some new faces. I see some familiar faces. Thank you. Is anybody brand new to my cooking class? Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Welcome, thank you for coming today. I sure appreciate it, and then thank you to all of you that are returning. I will be here again next week, same time, same place, if you're available next week. I've got one more show this spring, or one more class. So today, you probably know, is a focus on desserts. If you don't eat dairy, what do you have for desserts? We don't gnaw on broccoli twigs. There are plenty of options that are absolutely delicious and things that you might already be familiar with, but we can just tweak the recipes a little bit and make them vegan friendly and delicious to anyone, vegan or not. So I'm going to give you some very basic recipes today that you can use to do many different things. But the first thing I'm going to do is just to teach you a really simple custard-like filling. You can use it to make parfaits. It can be a pie filling. It can be so many things. You can get creative. But once you just know this quick little recipe, I'm going to start with a lime-flavored custard. But you could make it lemony. You could use any citrus fruit or a combination of citrus fruits. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 different custard fillings, and then we're going to let them cool. And once they've cooled a bit, I'll show you some ideas on things you can do with these fillings. So and they come together really quickly. So I'm going to start with, I called it key lime custard filling. But if any of you looked up here, I did not buy key lime juice today or fresh key limes. I just chose to get a bottle of organic lime juice. It can be key lime, absolutely, but today it's just going to be plain old lime juice. So the first thing you want to do is, in a cold pan, you don't want to have it on the heat yet. In a cold pan, combine your ingredients. And the reason you're going to do that is because without the heat, your cornstarch, your thickening agent, is not going to clump up. So we're going to get it combined while it's cold, and then we'll move it to the heat. So I'm just going to start off with 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. It's way too quiet out there. I haven't lost you already, have I? Okay. Absolutely, you can use fresh lime juice. If you're lazy feeling like me today, you buy a bottle of organic lime juice. So, and I did call this key lime filling, but if any of you have one of those Mexican lime trees in your yard that are so popular here in the desert, to me they taste almost just like a key lime. So those are excellent to use too. But they're a lot of work because they're teeny tiny, so you gotta go through a lot of limes to get enough juice. Okay, so let's get some sugar. And my recipe says vegan sugar. If you're a vegan and you're making this, well, if you're not, just ignore what I'm going to say. But if you're vegan, what is vegan sugar? So sugar doesn't actually contain any animal products, but the filtering process on the sugar cane typically goes through a gelatin filter. Do we all know what gelatin is? It's ground up animal hooves. So if you buy organic sugar or vegan sugar, either one, it does not go through that process. So this is the sugar that's irregular in color. It has kind of a brownish tint to it. I actually have 2 different brands combined in my jar here. One is much whiter than the other one. So they really just kind of retain more of the natural color if they don't go through that filtering process. So again, the finished product doesn't contain the gelatin, but it is used to filter it and make it that pure white, even color. So as a vegan myself, I wouldn't be eating it with regular sugar, but I would be paying into part of that system of using animals for our food. So I just buy the organic or the vegan sugar. All right, so we have cornstarch, we've got sugar, and let's put some lime juice in there. I like it really tart, so just kind of overfilling my spoon here. and my measuring spoon. And I'm going to need some vanilla almond milk. And normally I would buy unsweetened plant milk just for everyday use, but for baking and for these recipes, I usually buy just the regular one that is sweetened. Absolutely. You can buy plain milk if you have that on hand, and then just add a splash of vanilla. Not a lot for the lime recipe, but for the chocolate one that we're going to do next, I think it really does need some vanilla. All right, so I'm going to give this a good whisking right now to make sure I don't have any clumps that need to be broken up before we get to the heat. That's a great question. So she's asking if you can use a different kind of plant milk. When I am making something that is light in color, or I want it to be as close to white as possible, I tend to use almond milk because that usually has the whitest results. We drink a lot of oat milk in our house, and if you use oat milk for something like this, it kind of has a brownish cast to it, which isn't the prettiest for a fancy dessert. So that's why I chose the almond milk for this particular recipe. Absolutely, you can use unsweetened almond milk. It won't be quite as sweet. You can taste the mixture when you get it combined and see if it's sweet enough. If it is, you're good to go. If not, just add a pinch of sugar. You could do a little bit of maple sugar for sweetness, but I would recommend that more for a chocolate one that's going to be a darker color than this one that we're trying to keep lighter. Yeah. Thank you. I'm supposed to do that, and that is my weakness. I have to be honest with you. People were asking about different types of milk. I chose to use the regular vanilla almond milk because it's lighter in color, it's more white, and I don't want my lime custard to look brownish. Was that all of the? Okay. And as far as adding sweetener, someone asked about adding maple syrup for a sweetener, which is a great sweetener I use in a lot of things. But because of the color and the flavor, I wouldn't do it with the lime. I think it would be a great substitute to use some in the chocolate pudding, though. So, sorry? You could use honey or agave. Agave's vegan, honey's not. The other thing that's important with this recipe that I wanted to point out, when you're using the citrusy, if you're doing lemon or lime, you have to use a stainless steel pan or something with a ceramic coating to it. So I had a funny problem with that. Last August, I was hired to cook a meal for a fundraiser in Washington State. And I loaded up a big suitcase with all of my stuff that I normally use, but I didn't have room for pots and pans. So I decided I was going to borrow when I was up there. And one of the things on the dessert menu was a key lime parfait. So I borrowed what looked like a stainless steel pan, but it wasn't marked. And before I knew it, I had gray custard. And I didn't have, I had 25 people coming for a fancy dinner. I didn't have time to go to a plan B. So I quickly left the room and did a search. Is it safe to eat gray key lime custard? And Google assured me it was perfectly safe. So I went ahead and served it, but what we did is we did not put the dessert table out until it had gotten a little darker in the evening. Nobody knew. Yeah, it definitely had a grayish cast if you were in the bright light. Yes, the question is using arrowroot versus cornstarch. I have, yes. I have used arrowroot as a replacement. I do prefer the results with cornstarch, not just for desserts, but particularly for, like last week I made tofu that was coated in cornstarch and then fried it to make it crispy. Arrowroot doesn't make as crisp a coating as cornstarch does. So yeah, tapioca and arrowroot, similar results. It's a much softer coating. So in a dessert, it's not going to be as big a deal, but if I want something crispy, I use cornstarch instead. Okay, I think we're almost there. So at the very end, I'm just going to whisk in a little bit of plant butter. I'm using a brand called Earth Balance today. It looks like this. It comes in a tub. It also comes in sticks. The sticks are really nice if you want to just convert a baking recipe. That way it's pre-measured. All right. So just about a tablespoon of the butter is going to go in here. The butter gives it a velvety texture, which is really nice. The lime smell is nice and strong. It's probably from Walmart or Whole Foods, one of the two. That brand is available at just about every store I can think of here in town, so it's easy to find. Not all of the vegan butters come in the sticks, the pre-measured sticks like this, so when I'm baking, it's my go-to brand. It's a pain in the neck to have to measure out butter out of one of those little tubs or something. Okay, so, oops, sorry, I took it away. There we go. It's not gray, I can assure you. So I'm going to set it over here to cool, and then we will get back to it and do some fun things with this not key lime custard. So the next one I'm going to make is chocolate flavored. And same thing, I don't want to put my pan on there. I want to keep it over here where it's cool. And this one starts out with some cocoa powder. I think I have enough. Yep. There's that. Cocoa powder. Cornstarch again. How many of you were here last week? Yay. So you heard my shameless begging last week to get people to send me photos if they made the recipes. So Stephen, do you have a couple of photos you can share up there? I told you I was going to do this at the beginning and I forgot. So look how delicious that looks. Somebody made the peanut noodles. And I'm not going to say any names because I can't remember which name went with which photo. So I don't want to make any mistakes. And then, yep, there's another version. Beautiful. Nice presentation. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's one of my ladies that's going to Japan with me next month. Yes? Not here? Okay. Is there one more? Oh, okay. All right. But I really do appreciate those photos, so keep them coming, please. How much sugar did I put in this? 3/4 of a cup? 2/3 of a cup. Well, there's a half and a smidge. We'll call it good. So these recipes are very forgiving. Don't worry that everything has to be perfect. And it's easy to make adjustments if you're not happy with something, if it's not sweet enough or it's too sweet. Just want to mix that cornstarch up a bit before I add my liquid. All right, so we've got some plant milk in here. Let's see, cocoa powder, cornstarch, yep. And I'm going to add a little vanilla bean paste. If you're still using regular vanilla, I highly encourage you to try one of the many vanilla bean pastes that are out there. They have such a full-flavored vanilla taste, just so much better than the bottles of extract. This particular one I'm using today is from Trader Joe's, but you can find them everywhere.
Chef, is it a one-to-one replacement?
Yes, you're going to use it same amounts, just like you would the vanilla, 1-to-1. So this one, somebody needs to buy me a new bottle, but, uh-oh. This one may not have any vanilla in it today. We'll see. Oh, there we go. Yeah. See how it's thick? It's almost syrup-like. All right, giving it a good mix. Just break up all the cornstarch before you get to the heat, or those lumps will never go away, I promise. Do I ever use carob instead of cocoa? I'm trying to think of a way to say this without sounding like a child. I don't like carob. Mom and Dad, if you're watching today from Washington, my parents wholeheartedly embraced healthy eating in the 70s. And one of the things that we never had in our house was chocolate. We had carob. And it just, it didn't work for me. So, no. If you love carob, I do apologize. It's not for me. So, I love just the regular chocolate. Okay. So I know this part isn't too exciting, but it doesn't take too long. I mean, homemade custard in just 10 minutes or so, all told. And then you just need to let it cool a bit before you work with it. So this one, I'm going to put 2 kinds of chocolate in. I'm going to use some chocolate chips, and I'm going to use, I used the cocoa powder. And I brought this along to remind me to say that instead of vanilla, depending on what you're making for your dessert, a little almond extract is a really nice addition. I love the combo of chocolate and cherries, so if you make like a Black Forest type dessert, little almond extract in here. It's a really nice addition. For those of you that aren't familiar with almond extract, it really has a bit of a cherry flavor to it. So chocolate chips, many of the brands out there are accidentally vegan, meaning they don't have any dairy in them. This is the store brand from Whole Foods. I also have a bag of the store brand from Trader Joe's over there. Neither bag is labeled vegan, but they just accidentally happen to be. Is the chocolate smell coming out in waves? Okay. So the chocolate's not fussy about what kind of pan you use. It won't change colors on you if you use aluminum or stainless or cast iron or something like that. You'll notice that as you whisk this and you heat it, it starts to get a little foamy on top. Once you add that butter, the foam will dissipate. It's going to go away. But don't be alarmed if it looks a little foamy. Almost to a boil. So really all you need to do is kind of slowly bring it to a boil, and then maybe a minute whisking it at boil, and then it should be thick enough to cut the heat. So who's going to go home and make one of these recipes and send me a picture this week? Nobody? Oh, no. That makes me sad. Really, I can't tell you how happy it makes me when I see a photo, when someone's taken the time. It just really makes me happy, so that's all right. I know you're all very busy people. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Almost there. I'm going to go ahead and add my chocolate chips and a smidge of butter, about a tablespoon, and I'm going to turn the heat off. Sure. It can. That's a great question. So someone was asking about whether or not the custard will develop a film as it cools. Yes, so as it cools and is exposed to air, it will develop a film on it. But one way you can make your custard ahead of time and not let that happen is to cool it and then take a piece of plastic wrap and lay it directly on the custard. And then just peel that off, and no film when you're ready to use it in your recipe.
You have to wait for it to come all the way down to room temperature before you...
Yeah, you don't want to put the plastic on there when the custard is still warm. And if you have some cooling, just like today, so that mine don't develop a film, I'm hopefully going to remember to go and give them a little whisk as I walk by once in a while. Maybe someone can help remind me it's time to whisk the custard. But this is smooth and velvety. It smells yummy. Okay. So these are going to cool. Going to give this lime one a little whisk. Okay. Those are good for now. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next recipe while they cool. So who thinks chocolate and peanut butter is a winning combination? So I was raised as a vegetarian, so I had plenty of Reese's peanut butter cups in my life back in the day. But when I became a vegan, I gave them up because they contain milk, versions of milk. But there is now a plant-based Reese's available. Just in case you want to pick some up, Target carries them. But they're not in those little stands that are next to the register. They're not the easy ones. You have to go exploring in the back of the store. You have to go to the candy aisle where all of the specialty chocolates are located, and you'll find a tiny little section with these right next to Hershey's oat milk almond bars. But you now have my best peanut butter cup recipe, so you don't need these. But just saying, just in case.
In an emergency.
In an emergency, exactly. All right.
Easy to travel with.
Yes. So those were the Whole Foods chocolate chips. I'll use the Trader Joe's chocolate chips for this recipe.
Question, are vegan chocolate chips typically on the darker side?
Someone's asking if vegan chocolate chips are darker, like a darker chocolate. No, not necessarily. You can often find vegan dark chocolate or milk chocolate or semi-sweet, just like the conventional chocolate chips. For the like the milk chocolate ones, they're often made with oat milk. So, okay. So, here we go. Peanut butter chocolate bars. I need a more exciting name than that, but that's what I have.
Heaven in a pot?
Yeah, heaven in a pot. Yes, I like that one. Oh, well, you know. Okay, so this contains a lot of peanut butter, as you might have guessed. And last week we used peanut butter in a spicy tofu noodle dish that you saw some great photos of. And I mentioned that you really should be using real peanut butter whenever you use peanut butter, because real peanut butter, it's going to have a gloopy, oily spot in it, which you can deal with easily by storing your peanut butter upside down, and that way it'll rise to the top, which is actually the bottom. But you don't want, and there should be 2 ingredients in real peanut butter, peanuts and a little bit of salt. What happens is peanut butter or peanut oil is a valuable and nice cooking oil. So the cheaper peanut butters, they pull out the peanut oil, sell that separately. But what they do to replace the moisture is they put often palm oil back into the peanut butter. And that's what makes it the no stir variety. It doesn't separate when you do that. So if any of you are trying to eat better because of cholesterol as a reason, you don't want saturated fats. And palm oil, it's really something you want to avoid. Anything that's going to harden at room temperature, best to be avoided. So I'm just going to give this a little stir. I know it looks gross if you guys aren't used to the to the natural peanut butter, but trust me, it's better for you than the other stuff. Almost there. Okay, so we want a nice full cup of peanut butter. Oh, my thank you. Someone's worried about our custard. Thank you. I appreciate you looking out for us. Okay, looking good. Smell good too. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of this later, so I will set this over here. And now I'm going to put, I think the recipe says melted butter, but since I don't have a microwave right next to me, I'm using room softened butter, and I'm just going to have to work a little harder, but that's okay. And we want about 2 cups of cookie crumbs. Today I am choosing to use some vanilla wafers. I read the ingredients. There's nothing horrible in here. So what I did is I threw those into my food processor and made cookie crumbs, which I pre-measured here. No, I didn't forget anything. Kind of proud of myself. So this is our peanut butter deliciousness. Oh, I did forget something. I didn't put the powdered sugar in yet, did I? See, that's what I get for... If you make these, you can experiment with the amount of powdered sugar that you use. You can get away with less sugar than what I put in the recipe. Calls for 2 cups of powdered sugar, but you might try reducing it just a little bit and see what you think. It doesn't go into this part. It goes in the chocolate. Yeah. So this recipe is the perfect amount for a square baking dish, like an 8x8 or even a 9x9, whichever one you have is going to work. If you want to use the big rectangular dish that a lot of us have, just double the recipe, and that'll work fine for the bigger dish. These are great to take to a party or gathering of friends. I promise you they'll be one of the first things eaten. And you don't even need to put a sign on that says they're vegan, because that'll surely scare people away. Oh, yeah, you do want that sign so you have leftovers, right? But, yeah. Definitely a crowd pleaser. Okay, so I'm gonna get my pan out. Do I have a preference on pan? I do, depending on what I'm making. Something like this, it absolutely doesn't matter because this is a no-bake recipe. It's not going in the oven. If I'm making something where I want a really nice brown, crispy crust, I love stoneware. This is a stoneware pan, but it just happens to be the only square pan that I have, so I'm using it for this recipe. But what I do avoid are aluminum pans, so glass or the stoneware are my preference. Okay, so this peanut butter mixture, I lined the pan with parchment paper. Makes for really easy serving later and minimal cleanup. So I'm going to just put this in here. Gonna grab a glove. It's a lot easier just to use your hand to flatten it out. You can use any kind of cookie that you want. You could probably use graham crackers. I don't know, what goes with peanut butter? Question? Biscotti is one of those accidentally vegan cookies. Biscotti would be a great option. Yep, blender or food processor makes nice crumbs. That's what I used. But yeah, anything you like, give it a try. Those peanut butter cookies, I can't think of the name. They're like shaped like a peanut, and they have a little bit of peanut butter filling. Thank you. So, yes. Those I know are accidentally vegan also. Yep. Yeah, just like Oreos are also. Sorry? No, biscotti is vegan. It just is, accidentally. Yeah, I know this for a fact because I do a lot of traveling between here and Washington, and it's usually on Alaska Airlines. And they used to give you a biscotti cookie on the flight. And at first I thought, oh, I can't eat this. And then one day I was really hungry and decided to look at the ingredients and went, oh, wow. Okay, that is done. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of the peanut butter in my pan, like so. And I'm going to put some chocolate chips in there, about a cup, I believe. Not my day for opening packages. Yes, someone's wondering about gluten-free, the gluten-free version. Sure, choose a cookie that is gluten-free if you don't want the flour in there. Okay. gosh, who wrote that or who typed that up? It's my assistant, yeah. Just kidding, that's me.
Bring it out.
Luckily, I happen to have a drop left here. Yeah. There we go. Oops, that's a little hot. Yeah. At home, I would normally do this in the microwave because it's really easy to burn this on the stove. But I am not going to burn this. So if you make it at home, melt it in the microwave, about 30 seconds, stir it. If it needs some more time, another 20 seconds, just small amounts of time, and keep checking it. I'm not going to top this dish with anything today, but I know some people really like the flaky sea salt with chocolate. You could put a light dusting of that on top. You could chop up some dry roasted peanuts, sprinkle those on. But if you do that when the chocolate is still soft, so it sticks. Still a couple of big pieces of chocolate, but we're almost there. Almost. I'm starting to get warm. I'm getting a little exercise up here. Okay. So now just take your chocolate and spread it evenly over the top. When I made this recipe, I thought about doing a layer chocolate on the bottom to kind of enclose the peanut butter layer more like a Reese's, but I decided it was too much fuss, so it just all goes on top. Someone's asking if it can be frozen. Yeah, you can freeze it. I'd recommend cutting it into bars first and then wrapping it up. Maybe separating it with some waxed paper or something to keep it from sticking. But yeah, this will be ready. Well, we'll see how quickly it sets up. You want the chocolate to harden back up before you slice it. I'm not going to the edges just because. No, it's, I don't want to get any chocolate on the edges and have that chocolate lost to the paper. So I'm just trying to keep it just inside so that it doesn't get on the paper when I start cutting it. You can put it in the refrigerator, or unless your house is really, really warm, you can just leave it on the countertop for maybe an hour or so, and it should be ready. Okay, so we're going to let those sit, and if they're not firm enough to cut by the end of class, I brought another one with me that I made about 3 hours ago now. So one way or another, I'm going to slice the peanut butter bars or the Reese's bars for you. gosh. I'm sorry. So the food is for the library staff that is so good to me. I'm so sorry. They do deserve it, and they are great. They are wonderful to work with. Very, very grateful to them and happy to be here. But you know what? I'm giving you the tools to go home and make your own. So it'll be okay. Before I start with the custard, next thing I wanted to show you, next recipe is the summer, I'm calling it summer berry bars. But the berry filling, the middle part of the recipe, you can make that and do many different things with it. You could make a cobbler or a crisp. You can, well, there's just a lot you can do with that. So for instance, you can do the berry bars that are, that it talks about there. So parchment paper is a wonderful thing. So this is the recipe, well, this is made according to the recipe. But, oh, it's so colorful and pretty. So you can use any kind of berries. It could be all one kind of berry or a little bit of everything. So this is a little bit of everything that was fresh at the store yesterday. It's strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. So the yellow is the crumble topping. It's actually nice and crispy. So I'm going to cut some of these and put them on the platter, and then I'll show you one more idea for using the fruit part of the recipe. I'm not going to give them the end pieces because those aren't the pretty ones. I'll give them the middle pieces. Oh.
Those pieces that aren't pretty. The ones that are pretty have no calories,
Right. No calories, yeah.
Did you slice up all the berries?
Someone's asking if the berries are sliced. I did slice the strawberries because they were quite large, but everything else was intact.
If you wanted to use almond flour instead of all-purpose, is it a 1-to-1?
No. So the almond flour, I wouldn't use all almond flour. I do use it in the topping. But the problem with almond flour is it's not flour, it's a ground nut. So it doesn't absorb any moisture. So if you used all almond flour, you would have a very greasy crust. But if you did a combination, you'd be okay because you'd have the flour to absorb some of the grease. And you'd have a nicer outcome.
Are there any other gluten-free flours that work that you recommend?
Not really. So if you, about 1% of the world's population has celiacs, and it's a complete intolerance of gluten. Makes people with celiacs very, very ill. And I take that very seriously. I do know people that have celiacs. But for the other 99%, a lot of times people think that vegan and gluten-free are kind of like fall under the same category. They really don't. I don't do a lot of cooking with gluten-free flour just because I don't I had someone to Thanksgiving once that had celiacs, and I converted all my recipes for that, but I don't generally make a lot of things with the gluten-free flour because gluten is good for the rest of us. It's the protein of the wheat kernel. So I'm sorry, if someone has celiacs and needs to do without flour, I don't have a really good answer for you. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I know oat flour is an option. Oat flour. But it's tricky to get good results with, I think. All right, I'm making a mess with these, but these have a lot of berry to them. And they're still, they're a little slightly running because it's still a little bit warm. This was baked right before I came. So if you let it cool completely, it'll firm up more. Yeah, somebody's going to have to eat all these edges. It's going to be a shame. So another idea for the berries, and I don't know if gluten-free pie crusts are easy to find. I haven't looked, but maybe this next recipe idea would be an option for you. One of my favorite, if I want something pie-like, one of my favorite things is to make a galette. And a galette is, I think of it as just a free-form pie. It's like a pie without a pie pan. Where did I put it? Over here. Very easy to make. Just need some parchment paper. A pie crust. This is just a frozen pie crust. This is a little bit cooler, so hopefully it'll transfer nicely. It is the same brand. This is the Whole Foods store brand. It does not contain butter. So a galette is just taking a pie crust that you flatten out on a piece of parchment paper, put your berries in the middle, and then fold up, move one direction around the crust, folding up the edges. They are going to go overboard. The juice will go overboard, but that's okay. I think it adds to the visual appeal of it. Not just saying that because mine went overboard. I was going for brownie points today with the library. I have a little RML there. And I'm going to just finish it off with a little dusting of powdered sugar around the edges too. No, this is baked in the oven, and it's the same instructions as the berry bars as far as the baking temperature and time. But this is a galette. Just make the filling recipe for the berry bars exactly as they're written. And then instead of the crust and the topping, you're just going to use a pie shell, pie crust. So another option, same recipe. Yes, absolutely. That was the only way I was able to transfer it to the platter successfully. They're always, if you have enough filling in there, it's always, the juices are going to boil over and it's going to make a mess. And if you just had it straight on the pan, it's going to stick to the pan. Yeah, so you want that parchment paper for many reasons. It'll save you on cleanup, and you'll be able to get it transferred to something to serve it on. So I'm going to get these out of the way. Oh, yeah, rhubarb would be wonderful in here. No. It'll bake, yeah. Yeah, just chop it up with the berries, smallish pieces, and just put it in there. There used to be a store in town that sold frozen rhubarb, but I haven't noticed that in the stores lately. But that was really easy, just to throw in a mixture of berries or something. Okay. No, baking instructions are the same. And I think what did I put on there? About 40. Oh, I didn't put any time. Just left you guessing. Sorry. I think I intended to put 45 minutes, but my bars took a little over 50 minutes today. So you just 375. Yeah. What you're looking for is the edges to be golden brown, and you want to make sure all of the fruit mixture is bubbling nicely. And that way you know it'll set up when it cools. Okay, I'm going to move these over. Someone's asking about using frozen berries. Frozen berries are fine, but I would add a little bit more cornstarch because they have more water to them. And you might get a little bit runnier results. So I would add just a little more cornstarch with frozen berries. So I'm going to use our fillings, and I'm going to make some little parfait cups. I have these left over, actually from the event that I shared with you about my gray pudding. If you may be having friends over or something, these little disposable parfait cups are available on Amazon. They come in all shapes and sizes. They're kind of fun to use to make something look elegant that's actually very simple to make. If you don't want the fuss of filling all the little cups, you can just use one big serving bowl that you might already have. But I just happen to have these on hand and thought it would be nice to use them today. So I'm going to stir my chocolate, and then we'll start with the lime. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of different versions using the lime custard. Let's see. I also made some graham cracker crumbs and some extra vanilla wafer crumbs when I had my food processor out this morning. So what goes good with lime? Okay. All right, I think that was unanimous. All right, do we want the lime in the round or the squares? In the round, thank you. All right. So I'm going to start off by putting some crumbs in the bottom. Whoops, that can happen. Yes. Stay on there. All right, I'm not picking those up anymore.
Is this graham cracker or 365?
No, I think these are from Trader Joe's. And I'm going to leave those close by. We're going to use those again. But in. Oh, my hand's starting to shake. This pot is heavy. Maybe a little more. Anyway, you can have artistic license and do it any way you'd like. I've never used this product before, which is not a smart thing to do when you're standing in front of a bunch of people, but I just happened to see it. It's a non-dairy, plant-based whipped topping. It is made with tapioca syrup. It's good? Oh, good to know. Ooh, look at that. Okay. So I'm going to put a little of that on there. Whoops, got a little on the side. And I have some fresh berries. There's some blackberries. I have some raspberries. I have strawberry. Cover up my little spill there. And then I think I'm going to dust the top with a little bit. Simple, right? But they look elegant. Your friends will be impressed. Unless they're friends that came to this class with you. But super easy. So there's just some couple of parfait ideas for the lime. So the pudding is still a little bit warm. It will get a little bit firmer when it cools a little more, but I have a feeling it'll be eaten before it totally cools. Yes, you can make them ahead of time. All right, so the next one, pretty excited about. Does anybody like s'mores? So for these, we're going to use graham crackers again. I'd rather hear that you're getting hungry than you've lost your appetite. So that's that's a good thing to hear. No, it's just as you reach down in there with your little spoon and you get a few crumbs with your pudding, it's nice. Yeah, deconstructed pie in a cup, yep. I'm going to save some graham crackers to sprinkle the top, and I have the vanilla wafers. I'll do one with vanilla wafers too. In fact, I want to be a little bit more generous, and I don't have enough graham crackers because you guys made me use them on the lime. I know. The other thing you can do with these custardy fillings is make a trifle. Trifle's kind of an old-fashioned dessert. You don't see that much, but I think most people like trifles. It's just, gotta serve it in a trifle dish, though. It's a deep, clear glass dish. I need another spoon. Let's see. Where you can see all the layers, and it has layers of custard alternating with cubes of cake. And whipped cream on the top, and usually some fresh fruit. So let's get a good amount of our chocolate in there. And then the next ingredient is really exciting. So when I was little, I think I mentioned that I grew up as a vegetarian. And there was a popular sandwich back in the day that we did not have in my house, but other people, my friends had it in their houses. So I couldn't get enough of peanut butter and fluff sandwiches. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So, yeah. So this happens to be vegan marshmallow fluff. So it's a marshmallow topping that is vegan. So this is available on Amazon and also at Whole Foods. But I can promise you that on a piece of toast with warm, melty peanut butter and some of this spread around in the peanut butter, just as delicious as I remember from childhood. Okay, except I need another spoon. I don't have it, so pardon my fingers. But I'm going to poke that down into the chocolate. You could use a regular, like a vegan marshmallow, poke that down in there, but that doesn't, it's not as easy to eat as the marshmallow fluff. So I'm trying to keep it from the edges so that it's like a nice little surprise that you get to with your spoon when you dig in. Yeah. No. Today is about, just treats. Not feeling like there's nothing out there for you as a vegan. You can make any of these recipes a little bit healthier with some tweaks that some of them have been mentioned today. But, that's up to you. If I wrote the recipes that way, then a lot of people wouldn't try them. So I'd rather start off this way, and then if you want to tweak it, that's fine. So I'm going to put a little pudding over, hide my marshmallow. It's going to be a surprise in there. Okay, so Here's where it gets exciting again. We're gonna Trader Joe's sells these adorable little oat milk chocolate bars. There are 3 packs, and they just so happen to be scored so that they're easy to break. Uh-oh. One of my breaks went a little wrong, but don't tell. All right, so now going back in with the graham cracker crumbs. Okay, so no, a chocolate spoon. How about that? Okay, so these are little s'mores parfaits. And the pudding's warm, so that little stick of chocolate is going to slowly melt. All right, so now let's cut the Reese's bars, and then I've about taken all of my allotted time here. So I'm thinking the most oohs and ahs that I heard today were about the Reese's or the peanut butter chocolate bars. Is that a fair statement? Okay. So, yeah, the one I made in class is still a little bit soft. So I have the one that I made earlier. And again, use parchment paper. It makes life so much easier. So who's going to go home and make peanut butter bars? All right. They're not going to look pretty next to these, but that's okay. And these actually aren't fully set, so they're going to be a little messy when I cut them, so don't judge me too harshly. Because they're not as pretty. Oh, I won't throw it away. Don't worry. But these are the peanut butter bars. I should have done something fancy like a diamond cut or something, but it's okay. All right. There we go. All right. I hope to see you guys next week. Who's coming next Monday? Yay! Promise? Is it entrees? Lunches? I don't remember, to be honest. It's in the catalog. Wholesome foods? Okay, so we're going from desserts to wholesome foods. That's no fun. But, but I hope you'll join me anyway. For those of you that are new, I normally have door prizes. I don't have them today for the very first time ever, but I will make up for it next week if y'all come back next week. Okay. Thank you so much. Woo!